How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and today we're going to be talking about Senseonics. I know many of you have heard of this stock, and you know what? It's actually been on my watch list for quite some time, and I have a very small position in it as well. And I actually do like what this company is all about because diabetes is something that I've dealt with and I've seen within my family. In regards to me dealing with it, it's more so knowing that, you know what, I am predisposed to actually getting diabetes. So in regards to their Eversence product, I find it very interesting and I definitely want to see it succeed. So if some of you may not know what it's all about, so Eversense is pretty much a CGM. So it's a continuous glucose monitoring system that is implantable. And that's really cool because then you don't have to worry about pricking yourself with a needle all the time. And the best part about it is when you do have in the implant, it has a mobile app that can communicate and tell you what your glucose levels are, whether they're on the high end or they're on the low end. So I think that's actually really, really cool. But besides that, I'm going to be getting into more information in regards to that, but I'm also going to be going into the technical analysis and looking the chart, right? This might be helpful for some of you that may be thinking about building a position or just knowing, hey, you know what? What's the price action really like so you're not overpaying or you don't get caught holding a bag. So let's get into it. All right, so we're going to be doing a technical analysis on Senseonics, all right? So one of the things that we need to take a look at, since again, this is my first time covering this stock on the channel, is that we're going to be looking at the 1 month 10-minute chart to give us a good idea of what the price action is actually looking like. When I first came across Senseonics, literally I got in around the $2 range with a small position. And to be honest with you guys, I didn't even end up adding to it, but I am definitely thinking about adding more to the position as well because my cost average is around two bucks. So those are one of the things where, you know what, you got to make a decision whether you want to increase your position or not, or whether, hey, am I just going to let it ride and see where it goes? The fact that it is at $4.68, yes, it does mean that I'm up, but I'm definitely not ready to sell as of yet. So what I want to do with you guys who are looking to actually maybe might be thinking about getting into the play is getting a good idea in regards to the price action and what's a good deal to actually get if you do decide to purchase some shares, all right? So now, as we can see, the current price is at $4.68. Back on January the 22nd, we had a low here of $1.90. So as you can see, there's a lot of attention around this particular stock. So it's been moving a lot. Also, the product that they have, Eversense, a lot of people are excited about it as well. And there's a lot of potential in regards to future growth. So when you see the low here over at $1.90, and you see that it reached a high of $5.90 over here on February the 17th, you know there's a lot of pent-up demand. Yes, the markets have also been kind of rough as well for the week that just passed. So again, it ended up retracing all the way back down to finishing at here around 468, right? So as far as where you want to be looking at, we want to take a look at support, and we also want to be taking a look at resistance levels, all right? So as we could see in the past month, right, because we have January 22nd, leading up to today where the last day in the market was on the 19th. So as you can see here, around this period, we're going to take where this low was on January the 22nd. This was a strong area of support because it has never actually gone down back to that area. So let's just say worst comes to worst, or if anything ever did happen and the price had to retrace, this does look like an area where it could hold its own, right? Even if you go further back here to the 20th, we could see it's even been at $3.61 and so forth. So even getting that low, again, it's very highly unlikely to actually get back to that area, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. So now, if we move up here, we see there's a lot of consolidation here in this area. So there's been some price action in this particular area. And this is $2.50 range, right? The low 250s. So we know we have some strong support area there. And we've seen this also on the 21st. So look at that. So we know that's a solid support area. So on the next support area that we need to take a look at, we can see is at $2.74, right? solid support, right? It's been at this area on different occasions. So now we move up. Now, you see where we have a gap here? So we have this gap here at $3.11 and then to $3.51. So whenever you see a chart and you see a gap like this, that just means if it ever came down to like the 340 area, because there's not really a lot of established support aside from what we had here all the way back on January the 20th, then it's definitely not going to be a shocker if you see the price go from 339 quickly down to 312. All right. So that's one of the reasons why when we do look at stocks, we definitely want to see that there's a gap fill, right? But for the most part, this is fine because, again, they've had numerous catalysts and a lot of people are excited about the stock, all right? So as you can see here, from February the 9th, right, we've had some support here in this range. See the intersections again. But also, we see this was a resistance area as well, right? We didn't spend that much time here. So the resistance area here, which was around $4, right? So now, what I'm going to do, since we're getting close to February the 12th, we're going to push this back out to the 5-day, 5-minute. All right. So now we're on the 5-day, 5-minute for you guys to take a look at. So we're going to go here to February the 16th, which was the beginning of the week that just passed. Strong movement out at open, ended up reaching a high of $5.23. And then we had a bit of a sell-off, right? But look at here. What do we call this? This is a support area. Because you see how it bounces off these areas? You see $4.80. There was a strong support area on this particular day, right? Keep in mind of that price as well, because we're going to be talking about that again. So now when we get up here towards the end of the day now, as you can see, we end up hitting 536. Do you notice something? If we go back over here, it ended up hitting around the 538s, right? This is a resistance area. So it tried to reclaim this area, tried to get there actually on this attempt, but it didn't. But then it tried to go up there again, and it still got beat back down. So this is what we call a resistance area. And you know, for the next day, you want to see, well, will the stock be able to actually move past that, right? So now, we had a little bit of a dip. And this is, if you guys are new, this is in regards to after hours. But then we had a strong move all the way to $5.90. Like I said, catalysts do help with this stock, all right? So now, when we look and we see this $5.90, how long was it actually there? That's the next question we need to know, right? So this is pre-market, right? This right here is what happened in after hours the day before. So let's just keep that in mind. So as you can see, there's another gap up here. See that gap up? So 548 makes its way back. We got a gap here to 561. And then we get a move to 590, right? Going on as the pre-market high. So when we see this, we get a sell-off, right? People are taking profits and so forth. And we end up getting down here to 531. So as it moves up, it gets back up and we start, what's the best part about this? Remember I told you about this gap area? We actually filled it out a little bit over here. So this is part of the reason why we had some moves, stayed pretty consistent, and then right at market open, sharp move downwards. But what did I tell you guys about keeping in mind that range around the, look at this. What do we call that? Support area. It's bounced off these areas and has recovered. All right. So if you've been looking at the stock and you've been eyeing it, or even looking at the chart, definitely keep an eye, because even when you look at the RSI over here, literally it's at 19, and anything that is 30 or below is oversold. We could call that a reaction. So this is an easy buying opportunity right here. All right. So it bounces out of there and then comes right back down. And then we have a strong move back up here in the afternoon where it hits $5.17. What do we see from yesterday? Right? It's been in those areas. That's an area of support. But on this particular day of the 17th, this was an area of resistance. Right? It tried to get there and then it got knocked right back down. So now This is what was happening in after hours and so forth. Now let's get into the pre-market. So as we can see what's going on in the pre-market here, coming down, right? Coming down. And what area is this? Right here. It's revisited this area already, right? So you notice the consistency here. You notice the trend here. So we move up, market open, gets dumped back down, and then look where we are. Remember when I was telling you guys about the gap that needs to be filled? So look how quickly this happened when it went down, right? Look at this. A gap needed to be filled. So it was no surprise that the stock ended up coming down. Luckily, where do we have here? This is an area that is familiar, right? So it moved back up. If it sold off really hard, it wouldn't have been no surprise if it would have got down to $4.21, because as you can see, we need to fill that gap, right? So let's move on. So as the day progresses, we moved out of that area and we had a lot of consolidation. And now let's get to the 19th. So let's move it back out to the 1 day, 1 minute chart. All right, so here it is. Now take a look. We're now on the 1 day, 1 minute. This is the 19th, which was yesterday. Open up right at open. Strong drop all the way down. We get to $4.46. That's what we saw, right? There was a gap that needed to be filled. As you can see on the 1 day, 1 minute, again, it shows you a really good, clear indication and a picture of the gap that needed to be filled, and part of the reasons why we had this reaction here. If there was a lot of consolidation and there was a lot of support in these areas, then again, you wouldn't have had this drastic of a move in all likelihood of scenarios. But anyways, so when things like this happen, the stock can make a very, very serious move to the upside. Because again, if we look down on the RSI here, like I said, it's below 30. So there's going to be a lot of buying. So as you can see, the volume was very, very high around this period. So as soon as when it hit down to the low of 441, made a strong move to 497, almost getting to 5. So we ended up hitting a resistance area right here. If it would have passed $5, it'd be no surprise to see it actually get to around 510 and so forth, or 505, right? So we saw here, this was the previous resistance level, right? At 490. And then look at this right here. We had the 479. So once it passed here, strong move, almost 10 cents, another move up here, and then another move up there. So again, a lot of people are taking profits, and look where we get to. Right to around 1 o'clock, gets down to $4.54. But as you can see, when we go back here, and even if we decide to go back further, we got some support in that area. Look at that. There's been many times where the stock has met this area and has moved up, right? So on the Friday, we end up hitting this low all the way down here to $4.44. If we look at the RSI, great buying opportunity again. It was below 30. And then it ended up moving all the way up into close. Again, a lot of opportunities for anyone who's interested in doing any swing trades or any short-term trades. Let's look at the after hours very quickly. As you can see, it stayed fairly consistent. Made a move up a little bit and just literally consolidated in this area around the 460s, the 468s. So the one thing that we need to take a look at, there's going to be some news, there's going to be some catalysts that are going to be coming up for Senseonics. So as far as where the direction's going to be, so for example, what the news is in regards to they're going to be releasing their earnings report and so forth. They also have I think it's like sort of like a convention. I'm going to be going over that quickly. And again, we don't know how the market's going to react to that, right? So if we get like a gap down, let's say if we get a gap down on Monday, the gap down, we already see we have a strong area here around 460. If it gaps down even lower than that, then we could see something going on here around the 450, right? See? So these are particular areas. As far as it going down any further than that, could it go down to 445? That could be a possibility. There could be some sell-offs, right? but at the same time, I would expect to see a strong bounce to a move to the upside. Because again, these are areas of supports, and these are areas where people find opportunities, right? As far as this is in regard, that long gap that needs to be filled, just be aware of that. But again, we've seen on different occasions when it does get down into the 440 area, it does rebound quite nicely. So now let's think about the upside. So this is a stock we've seen get to $5.90, as you can see over here, right? So what I would want to see coming next week, let's just say Monday. Let's not get too far ahead here. Let's see what Monday, see what the market gives us. I would love to see a move into the 470 area. Somewhere in those 470s would be great. Area to give you an exact number. Let's take a look at 470, right? We've seen that was a resistance area for a bit. All the way from 12 o'clock on Friday, right? It never really touched that area again. So if it did pass that area, the next area I'd like to see would be here at 475. And if we could break that 475 area, look at this, 480. So you notice these have been areas of resistance in the past. So once it moves out of these areas, that's how we get these moves up. That's how I look at charts. That's how I analyze them. That's how I decide whether or not I want to get into a position or not, and so forth. All right. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Senseonics getting into the 470s, being bullish. Being bearish, again, I wouldn't be surprised to see 460s to 450s and stuff like that. But again, it could definitely recover from there. So it depends on how you want to play it. Again, I'm going to be keeping a very, very close eye on it. And I will be thinking to add when it comes to the dip buys as well. Hope you guys found this helpful. Now let's get into the news. So this is pretty much outlining and showing what has been happening and things that we need to look forward to. As you can see here, Senseonics Holding Inc. schedules fourth quarter and full year 2020 earnings release and conference call for March the 4th. So it's still a little bit of time from now, but not too far off. So we already seen it in the past, looking at their past earning reports, they haven't been the greatest, all right? This is a company that's really focusing on growing, and in regards to their Eversence product, which is pretty much the cash cow, the backbone of moving them forward, is pretty much they've been investing a lot in it, which is great because we're seeing that they really want to see the success of this product, and I want to see the success of it as well, right? So now, we also know on January the 28th, they did a closing of their 115 million bought deal offering, right? So we've seen that because we already seen on the previous days of January the 21st, 50 million bought, and then January 21st, 100 million. So in regards to that 115 million right, we have right there, it's actually being put to good use. So here's where it comes in. The gross proceeds of the offering were approximately $115 million. Prior to deducting underwriting discounts and commissions and estimated offering expenses, the company intends to use the net proceeds from this offering for general corporate purposes, including product development focused on working to complete clinical development, secure regulatory approval, and support anticipated commercial launch of the 365-day product, which is their Eversence, supporting the collaboration with Essentia Diabetes Care, and funding working capital and capital expenditures. With this round of fundraising completed, based on the company's current projections, expectations, and business plan, the company believes that existing cash and cash equivalents will be sufficient to fund its business through cash flow break even from operations. So this actually is really good because it shows, hey, you know what? They're going to be good for quite a while they try to launch their Eversense product on a full scale. And this is always good to see. These are things that we want to look for, right? So here's what I was talking about, the conference that they had. So this was that came out on February 11th. And pretty much says they have scheduled to present on Thursday to February the 25th. Interested parties may access a live recorded webcast of the presentations on the investor relations sections of their website. And this is more so to go into more details about the technology behind Eversense, which is, I don't know if I had the chance to tell you guys that very quickly, is pretty much a long-term implantable continuous glucose monitoring system for people with diabetes, right? So if they get a chance to really bring some more awareness around this and so forth, it could definitely help reflect on the stock price and we could see some upside movement, right? Another thing that we need to look at also on February the 1st, again, there's a lot of things going on with this company. So now what they're saying is this was when they talked about in regards to having a deal with Essentia Diabetes Care, right? So what Essentia is, this is what we need to look at. Essentia Diabetes Care is a global specialist diabetes care company that is dedicated to helping people living with diabetes. It is a leader in the blood glucose monitoring market, which is Contour portfolio of systems that are known for their accuracy and ease of use. Essentia markets its devices in over 125 countries across the world. The Switzerland-based company is owned by PHC Holdings Corp., a KKR portfolio company. And like I said, this is going to be around Eversence XL. And what it is the only CGM provided continuous glucose readings for up to 180 days with a single sensor in persons age 18 and older in the European market. The Eversense CGM system in the US provides continuous glucose readings for up to 90 days with a single sensor in persons age 18 and older. Inserted under the skin in a simple in-office procedure, Eversense XL gives users the freedom from weekly or bi-weekly self-insertions. Designed with the patient in mind, Eversense system has a removal transmitter that provides discretion and flexibility with the added reassurance of on-body vibratory alerts to inform users when their glucose level is outside the low or high settings. The system is accurate throughout its sensor life with an MARD of 9.4%. The Eversense mobile app, which I think is actually really cool, allows the real-time monitoring and management and enables the users to view their data on their smartphone and share retrospective data from the data management systems with HCPs. In addition, through the accompanying Eversense Now caregiver app, up to 5 other people can remotely view a user's real-time readings and alerts, which is great for health teams that want to be monitoring, again, patients who are dealing with diabetes. So this strategic partnership alone is amazing because it also gives them access into key European markets. So the way how this is actually looking, I'm really bullish on Senseonics, and I'm really interested to seeing how and where this can go. All right, so I'll give you guys the final thoughts afterwards. So that's my opinion on Senseonics. I think it is a great company and they have a great product, and I really want to see it grow and get widely adapted because I do see this as a disruptive type of technology. The fact that they're working on a device that you can implant, right, if you're dealing with diabetes and so forth, and also your healthcare team can have access to it, and you can get updates to your mobile device, I think it's huge. And the fact that they're working their ways towards having a device and getting it through that can actually be implantable for 365 days is amazing. And again, it's part of the reasons why that as far as currently the stock price, again, a lot of people might say that it's overvalued and so forth. But again, when it comes to value, hey, that's a matter of perception, right? We can all have different opinions when it comes to value here. But as far as where the price can go and how I'm looking at it right now, I do not even think that it's overvalued. I would definitely want to see this stock actually get to the $10 to $12 range at least a year from now and so forth, because I do see this product being a game changer. You guys know it. I see this product being a game changer. Can't wait to see what Eversense does, how it gets adopted. Hopefully everything goes through smoothly. I'm going to be looking forward to it. And hey, I'm going to be looking to add to my position as well. When they did their offering, it was around like $1.92 and so forth. My average cost is low, like around $2. So I'm definitely gonna be keeping an eye on it for the week. Like I said, there's a lot of things that are coming up in regards to earnings and also that the convention, the conference and so forth. So again, I'm definitely gonna be keeping track on the price action. I will add a little bit more. I don't want to really add too much. Like I said, I'm in a good amount of stocks already. And I'm also not the kind of person that have like 20 positions and 20 different stocks all at the same time. I like to keep it like a pretty tight list so I can keep my eyes on it, so I can monitor it and make sure it's going in the direction where I want it to go. Also want to put in a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice, so just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. Hope you guys found this helpful and you got a good overview of what the company is about, and we'll be talking real soon. Peace.